Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. My name is Daniel Cairns and I'm the head of enrolments here at FourthRev, working in true collaboration with Cambridge Pace. And it is my absolute pleasure. I'm thrilled that you've been able to join us today. Whether you're here to explore a career change, advance your current role, or kickstart your career in data science, this session and the information will provide the information that you need to decide if the Cambridge Pace Data Science with Machine Learning and AI Career Accelerator is right for you. It's always important in these events to commit the time, well done first and foremost, but to engage as much as you can because it's about the information that you need on a very important decision. So I ask that throughout the event that you pop your questions in the Q&A function down the bottom there, and that also you engage with us even in the chat now. You can pop like John and Loretta have done. Let us know whereabouts in the world you are. We expect that there'll be a high presence of people within the UK, but certainly from all different parts of the world. So if you can pop in the chat where you're at. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. I think the weather here is a little bit similar to the UK at the moment, even though we're meant to be in summer and you're expected to have cold weather. Good on you for joining, and we will make it as informative as possible and answer all of your questions as well. Enabling us to take the next step, I thought I'd just give a quick overview of the partnership between the University of Cambridge Pace, Professional and Continuing Education, and FourthRev. Cambridge Pace has collaborated with FourthRev to develop industry co-designed career accelerators to help address the shortage of high demand technology and technology adjacent roles. We launched the partnership and the first career accelerator in 2023, which is the data science with machine learning and AI. And that blends academic rigor with real world application, connecting learners to employer design projects from all sorts of organisations that we partner with. And I thought I'd just, before we go on to the next slide, sorry, Sam, I should have given you a heads up. If we can go back one, I thought I'd just give a little insight also into the founding of FourthRev and what our being is. We were founded by two passionate educators, one in Omar and one in Jack, one in the UK and one here in Australia, who identified that there's a need for people such as yourselves to access education that has immediate career impact. So that was our whole philosophy first when designing our career accelerators. And our first ones with other universities are much, much older than this one with Cambridge. But it is designed for career impact. So everything that we do, we measure ourselves on our North Star metric, which is career outcomes, your outcome. That's what it means to us. So there's a little insight into what we are as an organisation, and we'll go much, much further into how we support you achieve your intended outcome throughout the session as well. We're going to welcome now our panelists, and I'm delighted to have an amazing panel actually, where you'll get to meet and interact with. I'll go around the room actually. Let's do that first. So Dr. Alexia, welcome firstly, and thank you. If you could give a quick introduction of yourself and what it is that you do for the audience benefit, it'd be much appreciated.
Hello, Daniel. Thank you so much. And it's really nice to see you all here today. So yes, my name is Alexia Cardona. I'm an academic at the University of Cambridge. I'm course director of data science at PACE, which is the institute where you will be taking on your accelerator. So I do, as part of the accelerator, I also am a tutor. So you will also, I have the honor also and pleasure to be teaching you throughout the course. And I'm sure, once we start the course, we will have the opportunity also to get to know each other a bit better. So I think that's it, Daniel, from my end, for
Thank
now
you
at
ever so
least.
kindly. Always a delight to have you on both this panel, but also assisting the learners progress throughout their learning journey as well. I'll come to Sanya next, if that's okay. Sanya, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel. It's a pleasure to be
Absolute
here
pleasure.
and can see so many people join in, which is great to see so many learners keen.
It is. Does it remind you of yourself some time ago?
It definitely does. yeah, initially we were quite excited, and soon we realized there's projects to do as well. But it was very exciting. I'll introduce myself. So
Please.
my name's Sanya, and I work as a business information analyst at John Lang in London. And I am a former Career Accelerator graduate. I joined the 2024 October cohort. So I graduated in July, and we had a graduation event last month, which is quite nice. So yeah, I build BI solutions, data pipelines for my work, and I'm trying to incorporate more of machine learning and the cutting edge technology with AI into my work. And yeah, outside of work, I am keen in watching and playing football and maybe some videography.
Wonderful. We look forward to learning more about your experience and results from the program shortly. And thank you kindly, Sanya. Tracy, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Daniel. My name's Tracy. I'm a career coach here at FourthRev. I've been coaching for over 15 years now, and my role is to help learners identify career paths in which they'll thrive, that they will not just be good at, but they'll also enjoy. And the coaches here, a big part of our role is helping learners gain that clarity of what they're looking for and the confidence of how to get there. Excuse my strange attire. I've fractured my humerus, and I can't get anything with arms on, so I'm having to wear ponchos. So do forgive if it looks a bit weird on camera. But really looking forward to the session today. I always get really excited when I talk to people at the start of this journey because I see where they end up and the difference that it makes. So I do love the starts.
Thank you ever so kindly for joining us under such duress. I thought you were just making a fashion statement myself, but sorry to hear about the injury. Hopefully you experience a speedy recovery. And just for everyone's benefit, I guess, we envy Tracy and Alexia because they support you through your not only your learning journey, but celebrate your outcomes when you achieve them. That's, as I said, what it's all about. So let's get into it. Just on the next slide, 1 second. So to start off I guess, framing the opportunities that present in a changing world, someone much wiser than myself, she was the former Prime Minister of Australia, told me many moons ago that the pace of change has never, ever been this fast, yet it will never be this slow. And that's rung true ever since those words left her mouth. I always think of that when we come to this slide. So the landscape now is that data science, especially with machine learning and AI, is one of the most in-demand fields globally, with high salaries and career flexibility as well. There's 10 times more job growth across the discipline than there are the national average across all occupations. 54K per year is the average UK data scientist salary in the UK, which we're seeing rise as well. And 80% of the fastest growing roles in the world are data related. Companies across all sectors, as you can imagine, but particularly from healthcare through to fintech, are all looking for skilled data professionals. The good news, I guess, the demand for data scientists far outstrips the supply, making this a fantastic time to invest in your skills, as your attendance today is testament to. So great time to be upskilling, reskilling, future-proofing your skills for the future as well. We'll move on to the next slide. The program, though, as I said earlier, is designed for career impact. It blends academic rigor that Cambridge Pace is globally renowned for, as I'm sure you're aware, with true practical application, and it being designed with industry ensures that the learner outcomes are in high demand from an employment perspective. You'll gain hands-on skills, build a professional portfolio, and collaborate with leading organisations, as you will your fellow learners as well. This isn't just about learning the advanced technical data science skills, which is critical and a part of the program. It's about understanding how to use data to drive decision in real businesses. Employers help shape the course to ensure graduates have exactly those skills that they're looking for. So it's a 7-month online program. It's co-designed with the University of Cambridge professional and continuing education and industry leaders. You obtain a certificate of completion from Cambridge Pace, that's obviously respected globally, as you can imagine, and I'm sure you're aware. And instead of exams, you do a project-based portfolio building exercise where you'll do up to 20 mini and major projects along the way that all contribute towards you submitting your work, but building out your portfolio to demonstrate to employers the value that you'll bring to their organisation, or internally if you're looking for a promotion. My first question for the panel is for Dr. Alexia. Alexia, from your perspective, how does the program connect the learning to real data science scenarios?
Thank you, Daniel. And I think it's, as you have very nicely explained, the setup, how we kind of formed as a partnership with FourthRev and the University of Cambridge. I personally think this is kind of what makes this program really stands out from other programs. It's this partnership, because it's not just the academic perspective of the topic, but there's also the industry input, which makes the difference. And I'm saying that because I also had, of course, in previous years, I have been in academia for a while, and I had the opportunity to lead other programs at the university, undergraduate and postgraduate courses, and I can clearly see the difference between these two programs. So, first of all, having been co-designed with the two different entities, academia at the University of Cambridge and FourthRev with industry partners, that brings in a wealth of experience from both ends. So, and because of that, it makes it very industry relevant. So the curriculum, for example, it's state of the art. It's a newly created course. We get feedback after each iteration of the course, and we improve it more and more as we go along. And because of that also, the way the course is designed, for example, is also a bit different from a standard academic course. So, for example, you would get industry mentorship as part of your course. So you will have bi-weekly meetings with your industry mentor, where you can, if you have things you're curious about in industry, you can have a chat with your industry mentor to get guidance. And you also have the opportunity to have one-to-one sessions with them, which I think is a real luxury. And that's why it makes it so distinct. The projects as well that we provide you with, and most importantly, the end project, which is an employer project. So that's pure industry project. So you will get 6 weeks of experience working with an employer. And the beauty of it is that through this course, you will not only get then to check the box of, doing a course, but you also check the other box of getting experience of working in industry. So both at the same time. So I think that's really, I tried to capture the highlights, Daniel. So I'm sure my other colleagues will point out other things, but I really feel those are the key things that make it stand out and the relevance to industry.
You've articulated that really well and made some amazing points. And one that I don't touch on enough, this is continuously updated as industry would expect, very quickly with the pace of change that I mentioned earlier. Content can date very quickly. So that's a really salient point that you make as well, that we're constantly updating and seeking our learners' feedback on their thoughts on that, as well as industries as well. And yes, it is rigorous. It is around 20 hours per week, delivered with a blend of synchronous and asynchronous learning, meaning there are live sessions each week for all learners to learn from Dr. Alexia and others. And then the majority being asynchronous, meaning the learners choose when and how study fits in with their other life priorities to ensure that they can go from where it is that they are now to becoming a fully fledged data scientist, applying for the roles that you dream about within that 8-month period and beyond. And we'll touch furthermore on the support surrounding that. No exams as well is a huge consideration for employers. Who would ever take an exam to a job interview, yet who wouldn't take a stunning portfolio of evidence, and an employer project demonstrating how you've related that technical experience to a real world application to a job interview for impact. It's the way it should be. On to the next slide if we can. So I'll dive a little bit deeper into the program structure. As you'll see, it's 3 courses, 20 industry relevant and real world applications of learning or business case scenarios in the projects that you submit to develop your portfolio, and then 1 employer project, a lifetime of impact. So course 1, applying statistics and core data science techniques in business. Even in the title of the courses, you can see the business reflection. Employers, when we designed the content, were adamant that they recruited many people with the technical skills, but where they lacked was applying it to a business impact scenario. So that's why it's heavily focused, heavily technical, yet there is that business application of the technical, and you'll see that obviously reflected in the even course title. Course 2, solving business problems with supervised learning. Both of them run for 6 weeks with a week's break in between before course 3, applying advanced data science techniques. That runs for 8 weeks with a break in the middle. And then lastly, your employer project. So taking your learning outcomes from those first 3 courses and applying it in a practical sense in a real industry project with one of our employer partners, as Dr. Alexia mentioned. To frame that a little more deeply quickly, you'll meet as a part of a team of 5 or 6 high caliber learners, some of whom are no doubt in the session today. You'll meet with one of our employer partners. They'll present to you a real data related scenario or challenge that their organisation currently experiences. And then through the application of learning and in a team sense, you'll come up with innovative and tangible solutions to that scenario, presenting your recommendations back to that employer in a consultancy style presentation at the end. The benefit of that is numerous. It's practical application of learning in the real world, as I mentioned. It is also a great way to network more deeply with leaders of industry, but also your fellow peers across the program. And lastly, it is a much more powerful demonstration of your value to a prospective employer to show the impact that your project potentially has for someone like the Bank of England or Pure Gym or one of our other partners than it would ever be to say, bring your exam results to your interview. Also, we're going to ask obviously Tracy about this now, but ongoing one-on-one executive career coaching. You achieve your goals, master productivity, build your influence, improve your decision-making powers, and become that employable person, dream employee for that dream role that you're seeking. It is aimed at level 7 equivalency. So it's at master's level. So the entry criteria that I'll touch on in a moment is the entry criteria is a undergraduate degree. It is aimed at postgraduate level, but it's non-credit bearing. It's a certification from the university. But that does become particularly relevant when supporting learners with their personal branding, such as CVs, LinkedIn profiles, etc. after completing the Career Accelerator. Tracy, can I ask, could you elaborate on how that level 7 designation impacts learners' career positioning and personal branding?
Yeah, absolutely, Daniel. I mean, it's shorthand for the sort of the level, the quality, the academic rigor of the qualification that you will undertake. So, and that's useful in 2 ways. The first is in your personal branding. As career coaches, we talk a lot about your personal brand. It sounds very scary, but it's just your way of articulating what makes you different in the market, where your strengths are. And to say you have a level 7 qualification, all industries know what that means. You know, it's a standard that people recognise. So from your personal brand perspective, a level 7 from in association with Cambridge is a very good shorthand for saying this is a quality qualification that I've done. The other way that it's useful is in good old AI with the applicant tracking systems that are around now. most recruitment processes use some sort of ATS, and often there is a level 7 recognition when they're searching through the CVs to see about the relevance. So just to have that on your CV, on your LinkedIn profile, can make a difference as well. But it's really definitely that recognition of the. It's, as Daniel said before, it's not just a boot camp. There is so much more to it, and that is reflected in the level of the qualification.
Couldn't have said that better myself. Really well done, Tracy, and thank you. And we'll touch much more deeply on the coaching aspect because it's so unique to the Career Accelerator model. But Sanya, sorry it's taken me a while to come to you good self. We've seen how the program is structured across the 4 aspects of the course. Can you talk us through the support that you received from the academics, from the success managers or career coaches? How did you find the support that you received in an online learning environment?
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, the support has been, I think from the get-go, it was available to us. The more you ask from it, the more they are able to accommodate. If I had to pick some pointers, I think at the very beginning, when we requested like an early release of modules so that we could prepare and be ready for our first sessions, it was accommodated, I believe, because we were the 3rd cohort, everything was fairly new. So the feedback was taken on board very, very quickly. We had access to all our mentors, our support from FourthRev. Everyone was just an email away. So that was always peace of mind. You are never stuck, and if you are stuck, you have support kind of available quite rapidly. Then I have attended these one-to-one sessions with my tutors, where if it was a more in-depth or advanced kind of subject, I would have that one-to-one session and understand how this would have my questions and the practical applicability of that. So I found those very useful because you have someone that is currently working on it, is teaching it, and is the guru for it, and they are also an email away. Another thing was the industry mentor sessions. I found this to be supremely useful because at the end of the day, these projects are only as good as when they are applicable to get value out of. So to generate that value, you really need to understand from someone who's working on them day in, day out. So the industry mentor session gave us an insight into if we were working on this, what we would be doing. And that really opens up so many other things that you probably don't think when you're learning theoretically. Whereas practical application is sometimes entirely different. In this case, it's a blend of 2, and it is very important to know the practical aspects. Yeah, and as Alexia said, the feedback has been taken on board super quickly. Our cohort actually served for adding lots of bits of useful information to FourthRev, and then they incorporated that immediately. All our classes were an open space to take questions. I remember Alexia used to say, we'll take these questions after the class because everybody was going back and forth. So you can see such an open space where nobody feels like their question is not good enough. And Alexia and other mentors, and other tutors, they were always available after class or anytime if you had more questions. And from the career coaching aspect, I think I benefited quite a lot. And at first, I wasn't sure about it because I was in a job. So naturally, one would think, why would I need career coaching? But as my mentor said, the best time to get a job is when you have a job. And she said that, and I was immediately thinking that is actually quite accurate because you are in a very good headspace. You know what you're working on, so you can put that on your CV. And that's what she helped me with. And most of all, our LinkedIn profiles that have become the epicenter of any job search application. So, and we know sometimes we don't have profile pictures, we don't have cover pictures. Nobody bats an eye until you realize how important it is. So that was one of the crucial points where I filled out my LinkedIn profile, I put my portfolio on there. And yeah, it became a turning point to where even though I don't need it now, I get lots more requests and messages from prospective jobs, which I can then read and deny, but it's the option, right? So
you're in a
that
powerful
is,
position. You're in
and
a
yeah,
much more powerful position, aren't you, when you've got those people reaching out to you rather than you reaching out to them.
yeah. I mean, overall, I would say if you are willing and show up, FourthRev and the university have everything, and then they will do anything in their capacity to support. At no point did I feel they were trying to hide something from us or they don't have this capability. If you mention it, you knew this was a need. I'm sure they did everything that they could to provide that to a learner. And a course or a subject is as good as the energy you put in it. And that's how, like, I feel this would be kind of the best opportunity because you are there and they are equally there for you.
A great way to summarize it. That's a really, really good point. We've got some fantastic questions coming through. And Sanya, I'm going to come to you in a moment with another question from the audience regarding, and Alexia, regarding the module content and the actual some of the learning outcomes. But before I do, just a very quick overview. The next start date is the 2nd of February, and we do cap our numbers. The reason we put a cap on the amount of learners that we can take per intake is for your learning experience. If we open this up to many hundreds of learners across the world, which I'm sure we could, it would, we feel, dilute your learning experience in the industry project aspect. We might need 15 or 20 learners on a project team, and that would therefore diminish the amount of roles and responsibilities you have within that team. So it will sell out. It has the last X amount of, or I think every intake is virtually sold out. So whilst it says apply by January 26, I encourage you strongly to get your application in much, much sooner. And, you know, even after this, 20 hours per week, I'm going to touch on that because John's got a specific question around that. The support, the 12 months of one-to-one coaching, and we also have an outcome guarantee that will extend the coaching for another 6 months on that. And I'm going to touch more deeply on that in a moment as well. The portfolio development I've already mentioned, and the price. And I do want to touch on how we can support you with the fees. So the fees are £8,395, including everything that you need to succeed, and the 12 months of career coaching, 6 months during the program, another 6 months after, and further coaching should you require it. It's reduced. There's a reduced rate down £500 to $7,895 if you do pay up front. But Cambridge Pace and FourthRev do want to make this accessible to more learners. So we do offer interest-free payment plans for you as well. They can be either over a 6-month or 9-month period with no interest, all subject to a 10% deposit, and will defer your payment until next year. So you secure your placement with a 10% deposit. Your next payment won't be until the course commences in February. Or we do offer through a finance provider a 24-month payment plan option that is also free of interest. There's no interest associated with any of the payment plans. There's a small £20 application fee for our partner provider in StepX, and it is open to UK and EU residents with a valid working visa more than 12 months beyond the end of the program, and subject to a finance application as normal finance applications are. So everything included. There's so much value just in the career coaching alone, let alone all the expertise around the supports that Sanya mentioned as well. We'll jump on to the next slide because it's important. And I'm going to also include one of the questions from the audience around the portfolio learning. So why it matters in today's job market. So we've touched on this already, but I'm going to use this opportunity quickly to ask Sanya and Alexia one of the questions from the audience, which is Loretta, who's asked, can we get an idea of the types of modules covered in those 3 courses? And obviously we know about the industry, the employer project at the end, just so we can get an understanding for the audience of what they'll be putting also in and the skills they'll be developing to put in their portfolios. I'll go to you first, Sanya, if that's okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, I think I missed the screen. So the kind of modules, for the first course, it's more statistics and mathematical application based. And then gradually there is an increase to more advanced modules. So for your second, it would be then the onboarding of machine learning models. So you'll have classification models, regression models. So a kind of gradual upgrade from understanding the maths behind them in the first course, and you'll have those modules, and then the base kind of machine learning models further on, moving on in the third course to more advanced and more recent modules based on large language models, time series, a bit more complexity. So it is all gradual as the complexity adds. And then, yeah, final is the employer project. So those are kind of briefly an overview of the modules you'll see. And yeah, it doesn't feel too overwhelming as long as you've input in as much effort and time into each one, build the foundation, and then grow from there.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sanya. Really clear on that. Dr. Alexia, anything else you'd like to add in terms of the business case studies they'll do, not the specifics, but how they contribute to the portfolio, for example?
Yes, thank you. And I wanted to thank Sanya as well for sharing her experience. It was really nice to hear from first hands kind of her experience of the course, which is more or less what we get feedback also from others. I just wanted to build a bit on what Sanya also said about the courses. So in the previous slide, we have showed the 4 different components of the course. I wanted to build on also the way we approach its course and the projects. So for each course, you will have weekly tutor meetings. So during these tutor meetings, we introduce concepts and also introduce things related to a particular week. So you will also have access to a VLE where you will have course materials there, but during the tutor session, we will explain more in depth on some of these concepts. You will also have a Q&A session every week. So if you read the content, you still don't understand something, you have the opportunity to engage in a Q&A session where your questions will be addressed. On top of that, we also have a student forum. So we have a forum, a space for you, where you can also put your questions and they will be answered throughout the week. So this is continuous throughout the whole program. So you will have access to this kind of setup throughout the whole program. As I mentioned as well, you have additional support for other needs, such as the industry sessions. There's also Python support, which have been introduced recently as well. So, because we know we get people from different experiences joining this course. We have people who do not have so much experience in data. So we do our best to also support those to make sure that they are on an equal playing field with the rest. So we provide support in all aspects. Tanya also mentioned the career coaching. Tracy, mentioned the career coaching. So this is another important aspect as well that I know that the learners really appreciate, because most of them are taking the program either to move to a new field or to progress in the field. Some of them just want a career change. So there are different circumstances that people are coming to us. So the career coaching really helps as well in that aspect. Now, in each course as well, you will also get a project. So you will get, as every week, of course, activities that you will engage with and that you will work on. But then each course also has a project which will be assessed. So this is an opportunity for you to work on a project designed with real life data, different scenarios, where you will submit and you will get also tailored feedback based on your submission. And this is one of the things that learners find very helpful, because most of the time you start, first project, it feels very, difficult because you're still not sure how to approach it. But the more projects then you are practicing, you will get feedback. So you are always improving on the things maybe you didn't do so well in the first time. And that's why it's also really nice, because you get a way to not just, read and learn, but also practice and get feedback on that as well. So that, I think, is project aspect. And of course, like Sanya also mentioned, the last project, the employer project, that's something that all our learners look up to, because it's first-hand experience, and it's something different, because then you are working really with an employer. So it's a different context, but it's a very good experience to help you get, as much as possible from this course, to help you move on with your career.
That's brilliant. Thank you both. That's really, really comprehensive. And I think is a great demonstration of the power of not only the support, the content, but rounding that into a portfolio for impact, I think is the most critical piece. And I guess that brings me to Tracy, from a career perspective. How important is it to have a portfolio that showcases what you can do, but also how do the coaches support learners in identifying what can stand out in a portfolio?
Absolutely, Daniel. The portfolio is a really great way of demonstrating your applied knowledge. And, we've said before, this isn't just an academic exercise. It's got lots of academic rigor behind it, but it's also applying it to real world situations so that you're applying the knowledge and you can put that into your portfolio. So it's great to demonstrate that side of things. But the portfolio is just fulfill a number of different things. It can demonstrate that applied knowledge by putting the projects, the assignments in. But it's also a great way to demonstrate your business knowledge, your commercial acumen. Clients, or employers rather, are looking for that combination of data science knowledge, but also some sort of commercial acumen. And that can come across in the way that you're describing the projects that you do. And also, communication is a massive part of being a data scientist, and how you communicate your branding. That word again, you'll hear it a lot from career coaches. But the way you project your brand, the way you project your expertise in your portfolio can really demonstrate those great communication skills that you've got in presenting quite complex information, excuse me, in a simple way. And I encourage people, as the career coaches will help you with the branding, with the layout, the look and feel. And I always say to learners, you've got two audiences really with your portfolio. You've got the non-technical audience, and again, that's a really important part of data science, is being able to translate very complex information, present it simply to senior people. So you've got that audience, which is definitely where the career coaches come in. And then your technical knowledge. So, link it to GitHub or whatever, and so that the technical people can see that beautiful code behind it. So it has multiple purposes, but strongly encourage you all to do a portfolio.
Wonderful. Couldn't agree more. And it is a very, very powerful piece of ability to demonstrate your value, and it's expected as well these days. So it's important to stand out. We're going to jump ahead slightly. I'm going to move over the real success stories because we have one here, obviously. But you'll always see on our LinkedIn page, on our socials and different places, that we celebrate our learner success stories. So that's the most important thing, is to celebrate the successes, as we're here with Sanya celebrating your achievements. Can you tell us a little bit more, or if there is anything more to let us know about your experience, and maybe focus a little on the employer project, or we'll come to an audience question or two to supplement that. But I'm not sure if you're under a disclosure agreement or not, but who was it that you worked on the project with, and what was the depth of the challenge that you were presented as a team?
Yeah, of course. The employer project was a group project. So we were working in a team, as you would in a real working environment, where you have your share, like people that you work with, then you have your dependencies that other people will see. But yeah, so we were given a project from Bank of England where we had lots of financial data in form of PDFs, or they were available to us in many different formats. So we distributed amongst ourselves as to how we'll first clean the data, which would be getting data out of these PDFs, which is, believe it or not, 80% of any data related person's job is to get data out of anything. And if you do manage to get it out of something, to clean it, to really polish it so it is available for analysis. And I would say that is, if you don't know anything, go for that first. But yeah, so it is really important that we got lots of data types so we could have an exposure to how would you get a PDF in, how would you get something that's just a website link, working with APIs, etc. So that was already, I would say that as a positive, because that is perfectly mimicking what a real environment is. And then we would go on to building a front end for it, which is not part of machine learning core, but it is how you present your kind of model. So because it doesn't exist to touch, but once you have a front end, you can see something and then the workings behind it. So we built a front end where we put our analysis in, and then we had a nice financial report that we could then present to Bank of England with our analysis. It was a dynamic dashboard on an HTML file, so you could really play around with it, move the variables to see how forecasts would change, which I'm working on in my job right now. So I know sort of that gave me a sense of confidence. It might not be exactly what I'm doing, but getting hands-on experience before applying it to a live audience and be able to say I can do it where I've never done it. But in this case, I know I had done it, so you get a sense of confidence that it is something that I've done in the past. It is definitely achievable. I have the right skills for it. Because believe it or not, how quickly this industry is pacing, imposter syndrome is really common, where even the best of the best feel like they are not, they're being behind, etc. So knowing that I have done all those projects is a good skill set and a good kind of write in your book thing that I actually have done these. So I'm aware and I have the knowledge. So that was the employer project. And yeah, as I said, you can see I got a job immediately after my course, and I do directly link it to what I'd learned from the course, because I have been in the industry for long and I went into the business intelligence. Thank you, Daniel. I did go into the business intelligence bit of it because I felt I was really good at visualization, and I didn't always have the confidence to put in machine learning models. I'd never seen them being built. I'd learned the theory, but I'd never built them. So it would be not fair to put that on my CV and just say that I can do it when I can't. And that's the real change why I went into this course, where I wanted to put it into practical aspects, be able to build projects, be able to build projects for a real employer here. And that really, really helped me in terms of my CV. I have a working portfolio. I am not from computer science background, so I was aware of Git, but I had never used it. But now I have a GitHub profile where I commit, etc. So yeah, no, it's lots of changes in the last year that have been new and have been quite cutting edge in many aspects for someone who wants to do a career change. It is definitely, you'll be exposed to all this. And sometimes the perception of, I would say, coding or what's behind the machinery is far more like complex than the actual bit. So yeah, don't go with perceptions, do it yourself if you can, if you have the time and space and the money. I would say, yeah, this really helped me change my career trajectory. One more thing I wanted to add, to make an informed decision, what I did uh, personally was to go through the brochure. I think Sam's put that in, where you can go literally week by week, topic by topic of what's being taught. And that would definitely help you make a more informed decision.
Yeah, it's a really comprehensive document, the brochure. We've also got the full course overviews once you've spoken with your enrolment advisor. So we'll take some actions, and there is a special offer that I've got for people attending the webinar. I forgot to mention earlier. I'll mention that shortly. We're just going to touch on entry requirements, and then we're going to get to the audience questions. So it is a requirement that you have an undergraduate degree that features at least 1 unit of quantitative studies, such as mathematics, statistics, accounting, or finance, and at least 1 year of work experience in a professional role that relates or uses data in some form. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to be a scientist already, a data scientist already. It could be that you're in pharmacy and you're working with data surrounding the compounds or the stock levels and things like that, or it could be in sales, that you're dealing with sales leadership where you're dealing with data every day around forecasting and reporting and things like that. If you don't have a bachelor's degree with a quantitative unit, your enrolment advisor will still be able to support you depending on your individual professional experience. So if you've got 5 years of firm data related experience, that could be acceptable as well. We require foundational technical skills in Python. It's not that you need the whole gamut of Python, it's that you need enough to be able to make a successful commencement on the course, as we would much rather be teaching you data science techniques early on than the basics of Python. We can support you with that though. So the process is, and how we can support you is a number of ways. You apply, you meet with your enrolment advisor, you apply, or you apply, then meet with your enrolment advisor. It doesn't matter. We probably prefer you apply. So you submit your application, you meet with your enrolment advisor. They'll answer any specific questions that you may have relevant to yourself. You then receive your letter of offer, and we'll give you, free of charge, a Python preparatory course. Now, this could be as much as 20 to 60 hours that you'll go through in your time in preparation for February, and then pass a short technical self-assessment to ensure that your skills are up to speed. We're hosting a specific webinar regarding the Python aspects of the program next week. So join, there's a link in the chat function now. Please register for that webinar and you'll hear me walking through in much more depth the Python requirements. If you don't have Python, don't worry, we can support you. It's mainly around the libraries of NumPy and Pandas, and visualization obviously as we've just heard, but we can support you with that, and we've got a free course for those that receive a successful application. But the best thing to do is submit your application, get that in first. That will then trigger your enrolment advisor to reach out. I'm going to jump to the next slide and then the questions. Firstly, so which of the following is your biggest challenge when considering joining the Career Accelerator? Is it balancing work and studies? And John, I'm going to come to your question in a moment. Is it building confidence in technical skills? Is it transitioning into data science? It's often the big move that is exciting but also daunting. Is it understanding the career opportunities, or is it affording the cost with what I've mentioned in the payment plans that we have as well? We'll see those answers come through, and it might change slightly, but it does seem like transitioning into data science, people recognise the opportunity but are seeking a successful pathway towards it. Congratulations, you found it. I can't be more correct than that. We'll see if that changes at all as we go. Sam, let me know. Yeah, we're getting more submissions now, so join in, put your answer in the slide there. And we'll check on that again in a minute. Affordability, transitioning, balancing work and studies, we're going to touch on that now. So let's keep that going in the background whilst we get some questions going. John's asked, and I'm going to go to Dr. Alexia for this one specifically, and I'm conscious of time, but I am going to stay around and answer as many questions as people have. The panel may need to go to the next appointment. John has asked, and let's go to that one first. And if we can be brief on this one, but how is data with machine learning different from AI with machine learning? I'd argue they're all one, but have you got any other thoughts on that, Dr. Alexia?
Yeah, it's the same thing. So AI is part of machine learning, and you will also learn, of course, different aspects of AI. As you know, this course, because it's focused on data science, and as you have seen when we have showed that slide with the different modules, the core modules are all essentially AI and machine learning based. So you will get insight via the courses on those aspects. But yeah, it's more or less the same thing.
Exactly. Thank you. And you'll be in demand with the skills from the program to build the AI models for individual organisations and the like as well. John's asked what a typical week may look like. His work is very demanding and he's worried he won't have enough time. Now, obviously, we've got someone here that's experienced it firsthand. Sanya, it is demanding. There are sacrifices to be made, but it is designed to fit in with you rather than you fit in with a university timetable, for example. Any insights into how you fit it in with your other life priorities?
You've nailed it, Daniel. It is demanding, and you will have to sacrifice some of the things. And that's about it. It's about making time. So, as you said, it won't be necessary to leave everything behind, but you will definitely need to put it into your calendar, make sure you're doing your studies, attending your classes. And if you keep that schedule and just go into it, right into it, heads down, yeah, it'll definitely reap its benefits. So some sacrifices and a lot of planning.
Great question, great answer. John, what a discussion with your enrolment advisor will entail as well is a series of questions I'll ask you surrounding what's preventing you, John? Is it, as you've said, you've got a lot of work, but do you commute? For example, they might ask you the question, do you commute to work? You're an hour on the tube, well, that could be some of your study time there. You could be re-listening to webinars, or you could be diving into some research and things like that. So there's a whole lot of personal circumstances that come with that. Ideally, though, 20 hours a week is an average and a minimum, I'd say, that will enable you to get the most out of your investment in yourself to enable your intended outcome within the time frame that the Career Accelerator enables as well. Marco's asked, do we offer any support for graduates to keep up to date with such constantly changing careers? Absolutely, Marco. And this is part of the special offer. Not only do you have the ongoing support of the career coach, as I mentioned earlier, but organisations realise the benefit of this program and want to tap into a talent pool. So for people that apply now, there's only 30 packages available for a head start in this sense. And one of them is an EY, Ernst & Young. Everyone knows Ernst & Young, one of the big four consulting firms. Earlier this year, they came to us and said, this course is amazing. We seek talent in this area. We would like to host a private masterclass for your learners. And they're doing it again. It's been so successful. So for access to a private masterclass with Ernst & Young's AI strategy leaders, sharing their 4 Futures of AI framework, that will take place in January. You'll also receive access to early career coaching and an executive data pitch clinic, so a small group workshop with senior data leadership coach to craft, refine and rehearse your AI project pitch that will also take place. There's only, as I said, 30 placements available, and it's on a first come, first serve basis. Marco, relating to your question though, those masterclasses that we do host are open to our alumni and current learners, and we host amazing events. And you will also be invited forevermore to our networking events that take place there, where Alexia is at Cambridge Pace as well. We host learner networking opportunities, graduation ceremonies there. You'll be invited to them as well. But to support your career, there's access to that all the way through. So Marco, thank you kindly for your course. Camden's asked, is the course pre-recorded or is there an interactive with a tutor? There's a bit of both. The content is really taken with industry experts that have been filmed on their thoughts on that topic. But Dr. Alexia, you host live sessions every week for the learners as well.
That's correct. So it's both. It's asynchronous, which means you have reading materials that you need to read every week, and with also some videos incorporated showing you, for example, how to code certain aspects of the concepts of the machine learning concepts we introduced to you. But as I mentioned as well previously, you have a weekly tutor meeting that's live. So that's a live session. where you join. It's a class, essentially. It's a live class where you join every week with your tutor. And we also host Q&A session every week. So you have 2 sessions with your tutor every week that are live, plus the other live sessions, with the industry and the coach, I think, as well. So you have all the other aspects that are also live, that are integrated in the course as well as you go along.
Perfect. Thank you. Marco, thank you for your engagement as well. You've been asking, or you've asked also a typical distribution of those who take the course. Industries vary. 80%, 70%, 75% are UK based, and mainland Europe, South Asia. We've got some in North America and some in the Middle East as well. I think Netherlands is the second most populous, possibly Switzerland as well, area. Early to mid 30s is the average of our learners. The majority seeking a career change into data science, as you saw when I first posed the question. And everyone has something in common. Everyone understands the value of practical learning towards a career outcome. That's what has attracted you to this, and hopefully that's what's been demonstrated today as well. I'm going to rip through some more questions because I'm conscious of time. Christian's asked a really good question too. How realistic is it for someone from a non-technology background in humanities and social sciences to find jobs or opportunities in the field? I'd love to give this a little bit longer, Christian, but speak with your enrolment advisor. And Tracy, how important is it for people such as Christian to position their transferable skills from their previous experience into either a related field with data or a new field that uses data science?
Yeah, absolutely. If rather than try and make 2 changes, change your job title, change your sector, it can help to do data science within the current sector and then move sectors if that's your aim. But for all of you who are changing, you have an awful lot of transferable skills, an awful lot. I talked before about business acumen, talked about communication skills, stakeholder engagement, problem solving, all those things. And your career coach will help you bring out all of those transferable skills, plus obviously the data science knowledge that you will be building, so that once they understand your objectives, they will be able to, with you, create that right personal brand, that word again, so that you can clearly, concisely articulate what you're bringing to market, your data science knowledge plus those transferable skills.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Tracy, as well. Loretta's asked, what are some of the typical fields or work that people can access on completing this course? I think that's really broad, isn't it, Tracy, and Sanya, in that regard? I don't think there's many industries that aren't impacted or realise the need to adapt to the digital economy now. Maybe woodworking, but I'm sure in the background there's many ways in which they can use data science techniques for AutoCAD and all sorts of things. So it is really broad, both and diverse, the range of backgrounds our learners bring to the program that enhance your exposure to all different areas through the networking that you do, but then end up in all different fields as well. I wouldn't say it's typical, but Sanya and Tracy, anything you can add there?
I think from my perspective, you've got the purely technical roles, but what's emerging is these roles where the data scientist bringing in those transferable skills is a bridge between the business and the technology. So it's those sort of roles are being created within organizations, which is why we encourage lots of networking conversations. So yeah, lots of the technical data science jobs out there, but also those ones that's bringing that breadth of data science knowledge that you learn, coupled with that other experience that you've got to help be the translator almost between business and tech.
Wonderful.
I would like to add that.
Sorry, Sanya, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly what Tracy said. A lot of it's how you say, like, some people that are really good at a subject are not good teachers, which just means sometimes there is a gap of communication. So at this point in time, I think industries are looking for a generalist, and that term's been just thrown around. But it is true, someone who can have the knowledge, but then can add value in terms of business strategy. And those are the kind of people that are really in demand.
That's a great point as well. Terry's asked, Thierry, do we get a discount for attending the webinar? We don't discount. There are certain fee concessions available. Do book a time with your enrolment advisor to understand more about that I've outlined a little earlier. What are the rates of successful recruitment employment for people transitioning into a new industry? Across all of our career accelerators, it's 87.5% of those that have identified and gone through the coaching program have achieved their intended outcome within 6 months of completing the career accelerator. That doesn't mean that's 100% of learners. It's those that have gone through the coaching program and nominated their intended outcome. But it's also why we adapted. So very quickly, and we've only got one more question. I thank you for hanging around. I don't usually like going over, but it's for the benefit of the audience. We adapted and adopted a careers first mindset right from the get-go. But very quickly after we launched the Career Accelerator model back in 2021, the career coaching spanned the length of the course. Now, 20 hours a week and career coaching and your live sessions, all those sorts of things, you're building the skills to then apply for roles. So we very quickly realised that the coaching was just as valuable, or if not more valuable, post the course. So we extended it by 6 months there. So that enabled people to access people like Tracy and the team of amazing coaches that we have during the times in which that support was most required, i.e. when you're applying for roles. Don't get me wrong, people apply for roles from day one if they're ready, but that career coaching has been extended to enable you to achieve your outcome at a time and have the support of the coach at a time when you most need it. One for Dr. Alexia, do I need a strong background in mathematics? As a psychology professional, I only took a statistics course, but I want to change my career in data science, but I'm not good at math. What's your recommendation there?
So thank you, Daniel. So the course is intended to apply machine learning, not to create new algorithms of machine learning. And because of that, we do not, as part of our requirements of the course, we do not require mathematics degrees or whatever. So if you do not have a mathematical qualification, that's fine. There will be, though, some aspects of maths involved in the course. So you will find exposure to them, but at the end of the day, the focus is on the application of the model. So it's more about what is this model about, how can I use it, where can I use it, and why do I need to use it? So hopefully that gives you a peace of mind that you can still follow the course without having a mathematical qualification.
Wonderful. That sums it up perfectly. I can see there's one or two questions in the chat. Pushkal, it is a level 7 certification, not a qualification. So it's not a full master's. So you wouldn't be considered for a level 8 by doing this, but you would be considered a learner at Cambridge Pace. I'm going to bring it to a close, but there's a couple of important follow-up points I just wanted to make because there's some really strong takeaways that Sanya, Alexia and Tracy have provided as well. But in terms of calls to action, I just wanted to reiterate the importance of accessing your Head Start package, that executive data pitch clinic in January, where you'll have a small group workshop of like people, but with a senior data leadership coach to craft, refine and rehearse your AI project pitch, but also that EY Global AI Consulting Masterclass. So you'll access that private masterclass with their AI strategy leaders, who are some of the leading minds in the field. That also takes place in January, and we'll get you 2 coaching sessions with Tracy and co ahead of commencement, so you can even hit the ground running with the program. That's a lot of value and a lot of unique opportunity. So now is about taking the next step. You've made a commitment to yourself to attend today. I won't say give up your time. You haven't given it up at all. You've invested the time. So it's about a decision. So take that next step, review what you've learned through this, reach out certainly to your enrolment advisor, or submit your application so you don't miss out on one of those 30 placements, taking inspiration from Sanya, hearing from Alexia as to the live sessions that you have with her and others at Cambridge every week, and the inspiring career coaching sessions with Tracy and the team. It's a lot to do. We are hosting that Python walkthrough as well. Hopefully you've registered for that if required. We'll give you every support to succeed, and we certainly enjoy doing so. Sanya, Alexia and Tracy and Sam in the background who organises all of our events. Thank you ever so much for your insights, your inspiration and your knowledge for the audience today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Best of luck, whatever you choose to do. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's a life decision. It's exciting. And I think I'll finish it off with a little shout out to Marco. Marco, this is a normal working day for me at FourthRev. I usually work until midnight. But not only do we look forward to welcoming, supporting, and celebrating your success in the program, I'll leave you with a question to ask yourselves. And that is, if in 12 months' time you were to ask this question, how do you make sure the answer to the question is as little as possible? And the question is, if I had my last 12 months over again, what would I do differently? What do you have to do today to ensure that the answer to that question is, and Sanya's been through this as well, I'm so glad I made the decisions that I did 12 months ago, i.e. now, to get me to where I am. So if you think of that question in the future, it's a powerful way to break down small goals and steps towards achieving goals on a daily basis, on a monthly, or even on a yearly basis. So if you had your time over again, what would you do differently? If you ask yourself that question in 12 months' time, what do you have to do today to ensure the answer is nothing? We hope it's enroll in the Career Accelerator, where we can't wait to witness your journey. Thank you all once again and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.